Hi, all. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are going to give it another minute or two to give people a chance to log in. So if you can just hang with us for a minute or two, that'll be great. And then we will go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me restart my screen share and we will get this show on the road. So, let me start out by saying congratulations on your admission to USC. We do have a very competitive admission process, so um, definitely give yourself a hand for getting admitted to the program. We are very excited to have you here and to welcome you to the Trojan family. So, first off, a little bit of information about our School of Engineering. Obviously, one of the important things is basically what are you going to do after graduation? 2 years seems like a long time, but it is going to go by extremely quickly. So it's a good time to start thinking about, what you're going to do after graduation and whether USC is the right school for meeting your goals and what you want to do after you graduate. One of the things to look at, obviously, is location. We are located in Los Angeles, obviously a major hub of basically entrepreneurial things going on, and just a lot of engineering and computer science in general. So if you're interested in getting a job out here in Southern California, obviously that would definitely be one of the things that would make USC a standout choice for you. Another thing to look at is our Trojan network. USC has what is reputed to be one of the strongest and most effective alumni associations in the world. And that's because our alums are really good at both assisting the school in participating in things and in mentoring and assisting new graduates in finding jobs. So it's a very active alumni network. And then finally, research opportunities. Although our master's programs do not have a required research component, many of our master's students do research, and research is something that USC is very strong in. I specifically on Viterbi, we have over 100,000 alums worldwide. Um, and as I said, they are very active in assisting students with, things like mentoring, finding jobs, all that kind of stuff. And they are all over the world. So even if you're planning on going back to your home country after you graduate, that doesn't mean that the Alumni Association isn't there to help you. Chances are there are going to be alums wherever you're relocating to assist you in your job search, and just to have a fellow Trojan, basically right there with you. We are well ranked by US News and World Report. Currently, we're ranked number 20. Um, our School of Engineering was founded in 1905. A little bit later than the university as a whole. USC was actually founded in 1880. And then in 2004, we received a naming grant from Andrew Viterbi, which is why we are now the Viterbi School of Engineering. In case you're not familiar with them, Andrew Viterbi developed the Viterbi algorithm. And if you're not familiar with that, if you use a cell phone, and I assume you do, um, it would not work without the Viterbi algorithm. So if you use a cell phone, you can thank Andrew Viterbi for being able to use that. He is also one of the co-founders of Qualcomm. We have, as I mentioned, we are very strong in research. We have over $179 million in annual research expenditures. So that gives you a feel for just how much research is going on here. In point of fact, um, USC on the whole is both a tier one research institution, and of the research going on at USC, over 50% of it is actually here in our Viterbi School of Engineering. We also have 213 tenure track faculty. Um, and obviously, that is super important in when you're talking about, who are you going to be learning from? Who's doing the research? So having that many tenure track faculty is really going to benefit you. Some other statistics, as far as gender goes, we have about 69% male, 31% female. We have applicants from over 113 countries. So basically, if you come to USC, you're going to be surrounded by students from all over the world, which makes for a very vibrant community that we're very proud of. Also, we do have a strong online program. However, 83% of our students are traditional on-campus students, and about 17% of them are online. As I had mentioned, we are in Los Angeles, which is a global hub for innovation and entrepreneurship. Here on the left, you can kind of see a um, a map of what we call Silicon Beach, which was named because it is an entrepreneurial tech hub, as opposed to Silicon Valley up north in the Bay Area, which is a hub for a lot of tech funding. Silicon Beach is actually where a lot of the work and innovation actually gets done. So a lot of groups have a presence here, from Amazon and Hulu to Google, Snap, Microsoft, YouTube, uh, specialized groups like SpaceX, all have a significant presence here in Silicon Beach. And USC itself actually has two major presences in Silicon Beach. One of them is ISI, our Information Sciences Institute, and the other one is ICT, our Institute for Creative Technologies. So I'm coming to USC and to Los Angeles. If you want to start your own company, if you want to work for a startup, if you want to work for just a major tech company, this is a great place to be. Speaking of careers, there are two things here. One of them is you can take a look at career outcomes. So if you actually go to the program page on our main site and you click on career outcomes, you can take a look at the what we call our first destination survey. Um, the current one is for last year, so 2025, and it gives you a lot of basic information like, how many students have found employment, how many of them are, doing other things. And the other thing that's really handy is that we actually list all of the companies that our students are working for and if they provided the information, the title that they have at that company. One thing to be aware of is it's a voluntary survey. So in all honesty, the number of students that respond to it is a pretty small percentage of the overall graduating class, but it still does give you some very useful information. And then finally, there's also internship information on there. And that is based on our international students' CPT internships, because those are the only internships that we actually have definite information on. If you're not an international student and you do an internship, obviously there's no need to let us know about it. So we do not include those. And then definitely more important is our Viterbi Career Connections. So our Viterbi School of Engineering actually has its own career center. Um, and it's strictly for our engineering and computer science students. There are great resources and support for all different types of things. You can see some of the activities here. Over 120 activities, including two um, career events a year, one in the fall and one in the spring. The one in the fall generally draws more than 100 companies that are looking to hire USC students, both for internship positions and full-time positions. We had over almost 33,000 jobs were posted for students between fall of 2025 and spring 2026. Um, in addition to those career internship expos, we also have employers that come in and do individual information sessions so that they can talk to students specifically about their company. We had over 115 of those last year. And then finally, just a lot of specialized activities. They have field trips to companies, networking events, mock interviews, and then plenty of things like interviewing skills workshops, resume reviews, and things like that. So some basic next steps to think about. Um, Explore USC. If possible, in person. I urge you, if you have a chance to come down and do a campus tour, do so. We have an absolutely gorgeous campus, and we're happy and actually proud to give people tours of our campus. Um, we also can, make arrangements to have some of our graduate student ambassadors have coffee chats and local meets and greets. We also have some of our personnel going out to other schools to basically meet with students that may have questions now that they've been admitted to USC. If you can't make it in person, we take a virtual tour of our campus. As I said, the campus really is lovely. We have graduate student ambassadors. They are they have a wealth of information about what it's like to be a student here at USC, what Los Angeles itself is like, what it was like acclimating to LA and USC, because a lot of them are international students that came in from other countries. And so we have a chat system with that, so you can actually chat with them live through our website. And then finally, take a look at what Viterbi offers. And when you're going into a graduate program, you're not just going in for the classes. A lot of what you're going to get, or I should say, a lot of the benefit is actually from doing extracurricular activities and other things that are outside of the regular classroom experience. So learn about our community, the services and resources we have. We have tons of student organizations, both within Viterbi and with USC as a whole. And I believe at the university level, there are over 1,000 student organizations. We also have a wellness initiative because we know how stressful it can be to be an engineering student, and we want to make sure that basically you remain in peak performance and are comfortable and healthy during your time here at USC. The QR code here will take you to our admitted student page where you can get links to these things that I've just been talking about. So really important. As soon as you know you want to come to USC, do accept your admission and submit your statement of intent and your commitment deposit. The deadline for doing that varies from student to student depending on when you were admitted. So if you go into the USC portal, click on it as if you're going to accept it. That will bring up the actual deadline. At that point, if you're ready to accept your admission, continue with the process. If not, you can dump out of it, but you'll know the date that you do have to make your decision. After you submit the statement of intent, especially if you're an international student, make sure you request your I-20 and initiate the visa process. And this will include submitting your financial documentation. You will have access to pre-orientation resources. If you want to participate in our mentorship program, you'll be able to join the Viterbi mentorship program. You'll be able to connect with your department through additional academic webinars, especially as we get closer to the start of the semester. And then you can also explore housing options, especially if you want to live in USC owned housing. I strongly recommend that. Honestly, as soon as you get your admission to USC, you can go ahead, go to housing.usc.edu, and you can basically put your name in for getting USC housing. And then once you've accepted your admission, they'll actually be able to place you in housing at that point. So today, as part of our computer science department, which is where our data science program is located, we're joined by Dr. Amelia Ferrara, who's the Ward Department of Computer Sciences Associate Chair and a professor in the department. Steve Pham, who's a graduate advisor for the department. And we're also joined by a couple of our graduate students in the program, Emily, who's in applied data science, and Daisy, who's in our MS in environmental data science. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Emilio, but in the meantime, think about what questions you have. And just a quick housekeeping detail. If you have questions, please use the Q&A for those questions, not the chat function. It makes it much easier for us to respond and to track questions, so do use the Q&A function. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop the share and turn this over to Professor Ferrara. Professor Ferrara?
Thank you so much. Can you all hear me well today?
Yes, we can hear you just fine.
Wonderful. Thanks, Steve, for pulling up the presentation. So my name is Emilio. I am the director of the data science programs. I am delighted to welcome you today, wherever you are right now in the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully you're not staying up or woke up too early in the middle of the night to join us. So I'm gonna add a few more deals related to the data science programs today. Next slide. Some of this information you already have seen. I'm not gonna repeat some of that, but I think USC is an institution that has been historically very successful over 145 years now, and we're gonna be soon going for our 150th anniversary. We have nearly 50,000 students at this point. More than half of them are graduate students, and we have nearly 5,000 full-time faculty, professors that you would have access to. to work with, collaborate, learn from, and so on. Next slide. We have at this point 25, close to 2,400 master students in computer science and data science. This is a very large master program. As you can imagine, it's one of the largest in the country. And in that regard, it suggests that we are able to scale up and face a very uh, serious, I would say, demand for our educational program that, speaks to the quality of the program. And we also have nearly 800 data science students. This is a program now that has been going on for more than a decade. It has been renamed data science about 7 or 8 years ago. When I started being involved in this, prior to that, it was called the informatics program, and it was running already for almost half a decade. And we already have had, hundreds of graduates in this program, and many of them have already been successful in their careers. I will tell you a little bit more about that towards the end. Next slide, please. This is a bit boring, but it's a useful pointer. You can take a screenshot if you want. These are the people who are involved in the various data science programs in leadership positions of different sorts. You can see my name right in there on the leadership as a director of the data science program and the person who oversees both the applied data science program as well as a variety of different joint programs that we have. Some of you might be admitted in some of these programs: communication data science, healthcare data science, environmental data science, cybersecurity engineering, and public policy data science. We also have new programs that are in the making, might not be necessarily ready, for you to transfer in if you're interested in, but they might be ready for people after you. And, by virtue of being exposed to the same classes and so on, you might be able to share your experience in the future with students who might be interested in other programs as well. Next, please. So all the classes that are offered and taught in data science are offered by a set of diverse faculty. We have teachers who are tenure track faculties, instructors who are depicted on the left-hand side of the screen, who are very prominent figures in the research world. You can see here 4 people on the left-hand side: Batsal, Heather Culberson, Rini, and Shang. These are tenure track faculty who teach a variety of different courses. Some of them are the intersection between human-computer interaction and data science. Others are more foundational data mining courses. And many of these professors have very active research endeavors, labs. They take students from the master programs as research assistants as well. And many of the students who want to get involved with research typically end up working with some of these professors. We also have numerous teaching faculty. Many of them have received many accolades and awards for their teaching. In this slide here, you can see some of them in the middle: Professor Wei-Ming Wang, and then Tatiana Rykov, and several others. These are well accomplished, and they are typically involved in capstone projects as well, so you can work with them on your final project before graduation. And then we have several research faculty as well who are also involved in teaching many of the fundamental applied data science courses. In this slide, you can see on the right-hand side several of them: Mayank Kerjiwal, Ning Wang, Gail Lucas, John May. These are all faculty who are almost exclusively involved with the research activity, and they are at the forefront of their research areas. I wish you could visit in person. I reiterate that because our program resides now in a very new and very state-of-the-art building that has been finalized about a year ago now, and it has been made possible by a very large investment of the university into computer science and all its affiliated programs. About 3 years ago, we received a very generous donation from the Ginsburg Family Foundation that allowed us to create this new initiative, and that contributed to the Frontiers of Computing program that was started several years ago by the previous president and aimed at gathering more than $1 billion in funding that goes into a long plan of multi-year initiatives to increase the leadership and the position of USC in the world of computing research and education. This is a picture from the announcement of this initiative. And in the next slide, you can actually see the real new home for the computer science department as well as the educational programs. That's called the Ginsburg Human Center Computing Hall or Computation Hall. It's being open for now 3 semesters, and it integrates all the different facets of computer science, AI, and data science education and research. It's a fantastic building, 5 floors, above ground, 2 underground floors. It hosts a variety of different labs across, or I should say all throughout the second to the fifth building. Students areas where students can study. There is a large auditorium and large conference rooms. We have been hosting events, including large student-driven events. The last one of them was the Friday or prior of last week, the Showcase. That's an annual symposium that our department organizes where hundreds of students come and show their research at the intersection between AI and society. And all of this is possible thanks to all these new facilities and the new space that we have where all the people who are interested in computing, AI, and data science sort of collide and come together. We have a new school of advanced computing that has been also launched 3 years ago. This school integrates a variety of different units: the Department of Computer Science, Information Sciences Institute, the Department of Electrical Computer Engineering, and so on. They all come together and form this new entity under the Viterbi School of Engineering that is poised to become, hopefully, one of the largest and certainly most promising school of computing in the country. The director of the school is Professor Gaurav Sukhatme, and he's also the current elected interim dean for the whole school of Viterbi School of Engineering, because our current dean, Professor Yannis Yortsos, who has been the dean of the School of Engineering for nearly 25 years, is set to retire from this post in 1 year from now. We have several different programs, as I mentioned early on. Most of these programs in data science are 32 units, except for the cybersecurity engineering program, that's 28 units. Each program is designed in such a way that students can either have a introductory sequence of courses in their first semester, taking DSCI 549 and DSCI 510. These are introductory courses to computational thinking and programming. If you have experience or you have taken courses that are equivalent to this, you can waive them. So you skip those two and you get right into the more advanced data science courses in data mining, machine learning, and so on. Next slide, please. When it comes to academic advising, we have a wonderful team of advisors that is led by Steve Pham. Steve is joining us today. He's going to speak soon or moderate a panel very soon, so you get to know him. There are a variety of different advisors as well, Eric and Daisy. I think some of them might be joining our call today as well. We have a centralized system of advisors that you can reach out with one single email, and they will get back to you, and the right person will address your concerns or questions. As far as career goes, I think it's very, very important to share the fact that our graduates have been identified as the second largest contributors to Southern California tech scene, as well as Silicon Valley more at large. As you can see, this is a ranking that came out last year that shows how many employees each Silicon Valley, or I should say, how many graduates are hired by Silicon Valley and Silicon Beach employers. And you can see that USC is second only to Carnegie Mellon University when it comes to the recruitment and the employment of our graduates in the tech world. That's clearly a massive win because many of the schools in this ranking are either larger than our school or in some cases considered to be more perhaps prestigious, such as Berkeley and so on. But as you can see, our graduates can compare and even outperform many of these other famous schools. With that, I conclude. If you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A tool. I will check it out now to see if there is any question for me. And after that, we're going to get into the panel. So I see there are 3 questions that popped up in the last 10 minutes. I will quickly check out if anybody has any question that I had to respond live. I think I can answer all of these in chat. So in the interest of time, we can move into the panel.
Okay, great. Thank you, Professor Ferrara. Steve, I'm going to go ahead and let you take over from here to handle the student panel. I don't know whether you want to answer a couple of these that are in the Q&A live. If not, let me know and we'll take care of it via text.
Yeah, I think Emilio is answering some of them, but I could also answer a couple live. I think the 2 that I'll answer live are related to the coursework for the program. So the first question was for applied data science students. I see online that students can only take 2 CS courses. Is this a hard and fast rule, or can exceptions be made? So our department, for all data science programs, we only allow 2 non-data science courses per degree. So it's not specifically CS courses, it's just courses outside of data science that you can take specifically for applied data science. So we do only allow 2, and it is a hard rule. You can use both for CS, but you could use it for other courses that you might be interested in as well. A lot of students, for example, take courses in ISE, which is Industrial Systems Engineering. Some students might take that, some students might take a CS course, and then that would be the 2 limit that we have for all students in applied data science. So it is a strict rule, and there aren't any exceptions that can be made for that. The other question I did see was, how does one waive the introductory courses? Is there a test, or is it based on previously taken courses, coursework and experience? So the short and quick answer is that we do not use any work experience when grading students from their introductory courses, which include DSci 549, 510, and 550. However, we do look at previous completed coursework as well as any certificates or online courses that you may have taken, even if it wasn't at a university. For example, Udemy or Coursera or certificates that we accept to waive students out of DSci 549 and DSci 550. The only class that we do not use coursework for is DSci 510, which is the Python course. So for Python and DSci 510 specifically, we only allow students to waive that course via a placement exam. So more information regarding introductory courses and placements will be available for students over the summer, once you certify and confirm that you are coming to USC. But generally speaking, over the summer, you'll get that information, and then that information will provide a Google form with your interest to waive our courses. And then in that form, we'll ask students to submit any documents. So that includes transcripts, syllabi, and any other certificates they might have to allow them to waive introductory courses. I do see a couple more questions that came in, but I do want to give our panelists a fair amount of time to go through some of the questions that we have for them today. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and introduce both Emily Trung as well as Daisy, who will be serving as our two panelists for today. So Emily and Daisy, feel free to nice, I see your camera's on already. Once again, I'll be moderating today's session, so I'll go ahead and just start off with the first question, just a quick introduction. Anyone feel free to start, but please let me know and let the other folks here know what your name is, your major, your hometown, and why you chose USC.
I can start. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily. I'm in my last semester studying applied data science at USC. I'm originally from Pasadena, which is also in LA, so not too far from USC, but I am living off campus, like a 10-minute walk from USC right now. So you can ask me questions about housing as well. And I mainly chose USC for the networking opportunities. The Trojan network is really, really strong, and I've personally witnessed that after coming here. I didn't really believe it at first, but it is a real thing. And then also because for undergrad, I also studied data science, but I wanted a curriculum where I was able to waive out of the introductory courses and take more advanced courses that I wanted to take. I'll pass it on to Daisy.
Uh, Hi everyone, my name is Daisy Zhang. So I'm a second year environmental data science student. So I'm also going to graduate next month. And I'm from China, Beijing. So I'm international student. So welcome to ask me any like international student questions. I choose USC because I think the first location is just so great, surrounded by all like the companies and a lot of fun things to do in Los Angeles. And also like Viterbi is really strong school with like all those like resources. So that's why I choose USC.
Thank you both for sharing. So something that I always tell students during orientation is that grad courses or like MS courses are very different from the courses that you would have in undergrad. For at least for me, I think a lot of students find it to be much more demanding and much more intense than the courses that they took in undergrad. So I wanted to get both your thoughts on what are classes like at USC. At least I think you're both graduating soon. So how demanding, I guess, has the coursework and the program been for both of you?
I would say that two courses is definitely a full-time load. Like in undergrad, you would probably be taking three, four, or five courses even. But I would say two courses is enough. Just because in general, the class will have like one or two lectures, either 2 hours per. So if you have like a Tuesday and Thursday lecture, it's like a 2 hour lecture per day. And then if you have a 1 day lecture per week, it's usually 3 to 4 hours. So that doesn't sound like that much, but outside of that, you're going to be dedicating most of your time to project work and homeworks, and those take a lot of time. There are also, for my major specifically, there aren't discussions attached to lectures. So you have to find that time to go to TA office hours, clarify any questions that you have. So it is a lot more time outside of lectures than you would think, than you would necessarily dedicate towards like your undergrad courses, which is why it makes it like a full-time load. I don't feel like I'm overwhelmed though. I feel like it's a solid full-time load, but you still have time to like still do some of your hobbies, like apply to jobs and things like that.
So for me, I'm thinking for my like environmental data science is now those like heavy like workload classes. So maybe like each week about like 10 to 15 hours. Sometimes it's capable to do like a part-time job, depends on like classes because like last semester, like my class is more like busy. I spend more time on those, but this time like this semester is like easy like classes. So I say depend on the class. It's not that difficult.
Thank you both for sharing. And then Daisy, I kind of wanted to get a follow-up on, I guess, something that you mentioned. I think you said it kind of depends on the class, and I think Emily, you mentioned that as well. So, wanted to kind of dig into that a little bit deeper and maybe ask what has been your favorite class at USC thus far? And if you can't choose a specific class, if you could share maybe like a project or like an assignment that you had in one of your classes that you really enjoyed and could share a little bit more about.
Yeah, I would say my favorite class is DSci 552. That's machine learning for data science. And I really enjoyed the course because I came to USC specifically to kind of bridge the gap between like just computer science and then machine learning, and then how to apply data science towards that. And so each week in that course, you basically learn a different algorithm, and then your homework is to implement the algorithm in Python. And at the same time, you're kind of learning like the statistics that go with the model. So you're able to like apply the theory that you learn in class towards your homework. And I think that that was just like one of the best classes I've taken because it taught me the foundations for all the models. And now I have just a really good grasp of how the different models, main models work. Um, yeah, going off of what Daisy said about different class difficulty, I would definitely look at what classes are difficult or simpler when pairing them together, just because I did take two really difficult classes last semester, actually, and I would have paired it a lot better if I knew that it was difficult. But I felt like I learned a lot, and yeah, you just have to dedicate time towards learning things if you haven't previously done it before.
Totally agree. I think 552 is also my favorite class. It's really cool class, like intro to the machine learning, so many algorithms. And but the class is really, I think it's difficult for me though. Like I spend a lot of times on the project, homeworks, but it'll feel like it worth it. And so besides that, I think a lot of our classes has those like open class projects. So you can pick your topic, depend on like what is your like goals. Like if you want to do like environmental side, you can do like energy data analysis. And if you are like communication data science, you can go choose like movie and analyze like all of like those things.
Yeah, kind of building off of that, just to clarify, like you don't even have to take those major specific classes to do projects towards those. Even in general data science classes, if they have like an open-ended project, you can pick your topic. So if you're interested in like looking at how data works with music, you can use that open-ended project to look towards like a music database or something like that.
Thank you both for sharing. Just real quickly, I've been doing this for like 9 years, and every single time I do this, every single student says DSI 552 is their favorite class, which is so funny. But everyone loves the class and everyone loves the professor, so I'm not surprised by your answers as well. I want to actually go back to something that you mentioned before, Emily. I think you were talking a little bit about how courses can be rigorous, but it's also important to spend some time doing things outside of the classroom, which I think is super important. I think if you're living and going to school in the LA area, there's just so many things that you're going to be exposed to and can be exposed to. So I want to learn a little bit more about what you guys do, maybe with any clubs or organizations at USC that's, co-curricular and not totally related to the courses that you're taking here.
I'm also part of the Viterbi graduate orientation leaders. So I helped like handle orientation and things like that. I also did like research last summer, so that's kind of related to coursework. But I was able to pick like a topic I'm really interested in. So I'm really interested in applying data science towards like t biomedical data. So I was able to join a lab and learn a lot more about that. In my free time, I like dancing and hanging out with friends, so I'll take classes on the side. Like LA is a really good hub for dance as well. So I'm able to just travel and try a lot of new things. Yeah.
So for me, I didn't join any club. I wish I could join more like clubs. So I found the internship with Department of Sea Grant. So we're doing a lot of marine research. So I'm helping them build the database for that. So I organized all the publications like last summer. Yeah, and the publication, like the database is finally online now.
Awesome. Thank you both. I think you both kind of mentioned doing research and then just things that are still related to, your degree, but maybe a little bit more career oriented. I know I mentioned, you both mentioned just doing work in that area. Can you maybe share a little bit about how this program, as well as USC in general, so like including Victory Career Connections, if you use that, how all these different resources helped you with your career goals, and then whether you already have plans for after you graduate.
I'm still looking for work at the moment, so I don't have solidified plans after I graduate, but I'm anticipating going into a full-time job after. Um, for the most part, I used Handshake and VMock for career things. So VMock I use for resume editing, and then Handshake I use to find on-campus jobs and also off-campus jobs as well, for full-time since they're posted there. I actually just had a meeting with Career Connections. So basically in those meetings, they talk you through like what are you interested in doing, how Viterbi can help you get there, different things like that, like upcoming events and opportunities to connect with employers outside of just what you see on Handshake or Engage SC, which is another platform that Viterbi uses to tell students when events are coming up. Yeah, I just like had those conglomerate of resources. I would also say that just being an ambassador and being involved and talking to people around me has helped a lot too. Like every single time I lead a tour with another fellow ambassador, I'll learn something new about campus and something new about what's happening in their life and how I can maybe like use that to help my life as well. So just networking with the people directly around me has also helped a lot.
Same as Emily, I'm still looking for jobs, but I think the program let me know that I really love like how environmental science and data science are combined together. So I'm looking for any like jobs related to like environmental data analyze, like those kind of things. And I found my internships through email link, like the school departments. So I think it's a good way to like find other like internships in a school at campus to just like email all the professors or like those departments. And also like there are a lot of resources like Handshake, Indeed, LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I want to really reiterate what both you shared about just trying to take advantage of as many resources as possible at USC's campus. Victory Career Connections is probably the biggest one, along with Handshake. I always tell students like for full transparency, USC is not the most is not the most cheap school or most affordable school, but with that, we have so many resources that are completely free for students to use. Viterbi Career Connections is completely free. They have career advisors and counselors that are specifically trained to help students find internships and job opportunities and full-time jobs and things like that. So once you do get here, it's important to really, milk USC for as many of the resources that it has. With that, I do want to ask a couple more questions related to housing and campus life because I think a lot of students that are coming to USC, this might be their first time in LA, might be their first time in California. So navigating the housing and campus life search might be a little bit difficult. So Emily, I think we'll start with you. I know you mentioned that you are from Pasadena, but you're living very close to campus. Can you share a little bit, I guess both of you, can you share a little bit both about how you went around finding housing as well as roommates and any other tips that you might be able to provide?
Yeah, I was kind of lucky just because my brother also came to USC, and so when I was looking for apartments, he was telling me about his apartment that he really liked, so I was able to just apply there. But I know there's like a lot of apartments just around campus that are looking for students to fill in their spaces. Like, if any of you visit campus and are able to walk just around the perimeter, you'll see a lot of housing apartments that just have like big signs saying like, we want students like apply here today, things like that. So there's definitely not a shortage of off-campus housing. In terms of on-campus housing, I believe that they come furnished and you can apply just on the site directly, correct? Yeah, yeah. So those are like a pretty simple option if you don't want to like dig around and look for apartments outside, and also you get placed with roommates, so you don't have to look for those as well. But if you are looking for off-campus housing, like I was, there are a few like groups that you can join. You kind of have to source them out though. So sometimes if you join like a club on campus, in the group chat, they'll have like a separate thread for housing. So sometimes people will chat there. You can find people on Reddit. There's different Facebook groups, but just keep an eye out and make sure that they're not being like scammy or anything. Um, yeah, I think just like take advantage of your resources, apartments.com. I think there's also a site for looking specifically for furnished housing. I forgot exactly what it's called, but there are sites out there that can help you do that. Yeah.
So I have a car, so I actually decided to live off campus. So I live in downtown LA. So I think if you have a car, like downtown LA or Koreatown is like good choice too. So like around here, like there are also bus can get to like the downtown LA area. So I say if you have time, maybe come to like look around like those apartment by yourself to see like if you like those like layout. And most of the apartment come with like no furnish. So just like to search, do more like search and ask like maybe students here, they know like more information.
Yeah, occasionally, if you're renting an apartment after someone else and you figure out the person who lived there before you, sometimes they're willing to sell you their furniture too. So you don't have to like move in new furniture to a new place, it's already there.
Yeah, USC students are always trying to, or they're always moving around and always trying to sell furniture. So honestly, you could probably find really good, affordable options if you're looking around enough. I think Facebook's a pretty good one. I do want to ask one last question before we open up to general student Q&A. For both of you, what is your favorite place on campus and why? Yeah, it doesn't have to be the classroom. I actually doubt it's a classroom, but yeah, anywhere on campus or maybe close to campus that you really enjoy being at.
I would say I really like Annenberg. I think it's just a really nice place to study. There's also a cafe inside, so if I'm ever hungry or like want some caffeine, I can just really quickly head there and grab a drink or something. Um, it's not like super loud, but it's also not super quiet, so you're able to like have conversations there, but it's a nice study spot as well. And there's a lot of outlets and seating, so I like that area, and it's really open as well.
Same as Emily, I like the Annenberg, the media center is so cool. They have like those screen like a couple levels tall. And besides that, also like the Levy Library. It's also so cool that every spot has the charger place and like has restrooms and they have like small meeting rooms. Everyone can reserve for 2 hours every day.
Yeah, thank you both for sharing. It's funny. For those that are aware, there's two Annenberg buildings. There's the old one and the new one, and I think both of you are talking about the new one that has the cafe. Yeah, the new one is very nice. I think even staff, whenever I'm getting coffee or lunch with a staff member, we're always just like, let's go to Annenberg because it's usually the nicest spot. So definitely agree with you both there. I do see one question from a student. We kind of touched on this a little bit already, but. Can you either of you share which courses you found the most relevant to the data science curriculum? And then did either of you already have any data science skills before the course? So data science skills, I'm assuming refers to like any exposure to data science concepts. So either Python, which is like, or like code any other coding languages that you might have experience with before starting the program.
Yeah, my entire undergrad degree was also in data science. So when I was looking for a graduate degree, I was looking for one where the courses would not be repeating with my undergrad courses. I would say the main gaps in my knowledge after undergrad was like I had the knowledge of statistics and programming separately, but I didn't really know how to merge them into like building models or like understanding like the libraries that I needed to build the models. And so I think going back to my favorite course, that's the one that helped me bridge the gap between like just statistics and programming versus like how to use it towards building models. Um, there's also like a CS course called Deep Learning if you're interested in that. I feel like that's a pretty complex course. And so you might be interested in that if you're interested in like AI, neural networks, transformers, and how they work. And I think it's definitely like a graduate course. It's pretty complex. So I don't think that'll overlap your previous knowledge if you have like basic data knowledge as well.
So, for the question, I think like 549, like 510 are all like great for data science, like knowledge introduction. So it gave me a lot of like, not like those like coding skills, but a lot of like theoretical like knowledge foundations for data science. So I have statistics background in my undergrad, but I think like it's a little bit different in here, like data science. So it brings everything together, like like statistics, coding, everything, and how to like visualize data, interpret data together.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think one of the best things about this program is that you could really come in with any level of background or experience with data science. We have a bunch of students that have an undergraduate degree in computer science and data science, and then we have a bunch of students that have maybe a journalism undergraduate degree or a degree in biology that wants to now, take on data science. So we have a good variety of students that come into the program, which is why we have the introductory course waiver process for students that may be a little bit more advanced and want to go straight into more of the advanced coursework. So we welcome all students, any students that are interested in the program. So thank you both once again, Emily and Daisy, for joining us today. I really appreciate all the great answers and just sharing your story and letting students know about your experience here at USC. So once again, quick round of applause for both Emily and Daisy for joining us today. With that, I do want to hand it off to Ray for any last minute comments before we close up the session today.
Well, I just actually want to thank all of the newly admitted students that attended. We really appreciate it, and we hope you found this helpful. And of course, many thanks to Steve, Emily, Daisy, Professor Ferrara, as well as Daisy Perez and Erica Kim, two of the other advisors that were helping answer questions via text, and my coworkers, Kevin Henry and Paula Mejia, who are also assisting with that. If you do have additional questions, please go ahead and reach out to any of us. We're resources here, to assist you. In the meantime, I hope you have the rest of your day or evening is great, and fight on.
Bye on, everyone. Take care.